Hi, everybody. It's Sherry with Alleged Actually. Welcome back to another episode. And today, just as I promised, we are fortunate enough to have with us a very special guest, an esteemed guest. We have with us today, y'all, Morgana Jones, who is the co-author of the best-selling book, Design Your Wealth Mindset. Guidelines, principles, and strategies for women ready to elevate to another level. Y'all, this is a must read. And look, all of us can use tips to help change our financial narrative, to change our mindsets, to prepare for our futures. Today, though, we're going to talk to our ladies a little bit, okay? So, fellas, come on and join us, but we're going to focus on the ladies today, okay? So, before we get in the interview, y'all, I'm going to give you a little bit of bio background on Miss Jones, and then we're going to get into it, okay? All right, so Morgana Jones is a best-selling author of Design Your Wealth Mindset. She's the creator of the Wealth Experience and owner of a profitable professional services company. Her mission is to equip families and businesses with the education, resources, and support to make well-informed, confident financial decisions. And she has multiple financial services licenses, a background in professional counseling, and 2 decades of experience in technology leadership. And she brings a unique blend of skills to the table. This fusion of disciplines enables her to redefine the landscape of financial services, delivering innovative solutions that empower clients to navigate their wealth journey with confidence and clarity. And I'm going to tell y'all, who does not need that service? I don't care where you are in the scheme of your financial health, whether you're up here, we all have areas that we can improve and learn something. So welcome, Morgana. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Sherry. Thank you for having me. Thank you, thank you. And hello to all of your listeners and followers.
Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. So one of the things, and what I did not mention, y'all, is Morgana is also a part of a very esteemed group of Black women. And I just love this Black girl magic that we got going on called the Exit Strategist Group, the Exit Strategist 5. And there are 4 other ladies that have contributed to this book with her fellow co-authors. And I wanted you to tell our viewers or just give us some information on how the Exit Strategist Group came together.
Thank you. Would love to do that. So we have a group 5 business owners who are across 3 states. And we were just talking and commiserating, if I could be totally honest, about business challenges. And we started brainstorming. We had a brainstorming session. And out of that brainstorming session came the exit strategy. We felt that we can do more if we work together, whether that is cross-pollinating networks, whether that is leveraging resources. We could get a lot further than if we worked individually. So that's how we came to the exit strategy. And then something else that we talked about in that session is we do really good work working with families and businesses, putting together financial plans, but sometimes it takes so much work implementing those plans. So we were like, there's a mindset shift that needs to happen. One of the co-authors, her name is Monica, she's out of Detroit, and she's very extra in a good way. She was like, I need to write a book. And that's how we got to Design Your Wealth Mindset.
Okay. Excellent. You know, we're stronger sometimes in teams. I love that. I love that you guys came together, collaborated. And guys, when you read the book, there's a little bit of something from each one of these ladies. They give us the best of their area of expertise. And that's what makes this book unique. And so in the book, Design Your Wealth Mindset, and specifically in your chapter or your contribution to the book, you phrase the question, are you living well or looking good? Let's talk about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to add just one word to that question, and it changes it up slightly.
Mhm.
Are you living well or just looking good?
I like that. Okay.
Right? Now, let's be honest. For women, looking good is important. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm looking at myself. I've got some tick in my tooth because of the digital pixelation, but I'm going to move beyond that. In my 20s, I would have shut down production to fix it, right? Because looking well, I mean, looking good is important.
Yes.
As a result, we tend to put money, time, and effort in areas that we prioritize, and women prioritize looking good.
Hmm.
What really prompted that question was I was working with a client and we were looking at her expenses: nails, hair, clothing, may have been $800, savings, investing, maybe 100. And my question was, can we move just a little bit of this money over here that you're spending on how you're looking to spend to how you're living? And there was just a light bulb moment for me. And that is where that came from. And let me say, too, with most theories, they come from something we're dealing with ourselves. So, ladies, I'm not coming to you out of any judgment because I struggle with the same choices. Yes. So that's where that came from. How are you looking versus how are you living?
Okay. Yeah, that was powerful. Like I read that and I went, ouch.
Oh, let me say this. When we were actually reading the book and going through the book, one of the authors had a very visceral reaction to that, to the point where I had to rewrite it to soften up the delivery, which is how we got to the ouch if you're offended, because she was like, you're going to turn somebody off.
No, okay, for me, it wasn't turn off a moment. It was a light bulb moment. Like, okay, girl, yeah, I feel that. I resonate with that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of us ladies at some point, even if okay, so as we move in life and mature or whatever, or life changes for us, but at certain times in your life, that's an important thing. And so sometimes your priorities get mixed up, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that statement was very thought provoking, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of ladies, and not in a bad way, in
I
a
hope
I need
not.
to get better way. Yes, yes, most definitely. So also in the same chapter, we talk about a woman named Tina.
Oh, yes, Miss Tina.
Miss Tina, our good sis Tina. And Tina, y'all, she could be a good friend, a sister, and even more importantly, she could be you, me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking, in the world of social media, you have all your influencers, a lot like myself. I love to watch a lot of TV. You guys know I do my reality show stuff and Real Housewives. And so you get caught up in the hype of, who's got the latest Birkin, who's each season you see each woman start to evolve her look. Her skin gets a little tighter, her lips a little fuller. So you got your Botox, your this, your that. Everything's about beauty, looking good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just it's something that it's just in our face all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how is it that you find that we can help pull our sisters away from this mindset? Because it's everywhere, right?
It is. The answer, in my opinion, is simple. Putting the answer into action could be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to self love. And you can't have self love without self awareness. And within the two, when you mix those two, it's so powerful because a woman then begins to define herself from within rather than from external definition, right?
I
Because if
love
I
that.
and think about the women that we're watching that we find ourselves wanting to be like and emulate, are they presenting their real selves to us? How long were they in makeup before they came out, right?
That's right.
Are they able to afford the clothes they wear? And how many times do we hear about TV stars, reality stars going to jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting, as the Bible says, they have ill-gotten gains. I think that came from the Bible.
Yes.
So it's that self-love. And there's a study, ironically, on self-love. And it says that 1 in 2 women have more self-doubt
Mm.
than self-love.
Mm. That's
And
powerful.
it is. Now I'm going to bring it full circle because it still highlights an irony. And the number one reason that they have more self-doubt than self-love is because financial status. I'm about to take it a bit further, right?
Okay.
But on average, women save about $262, which is in the book.
Hmm.
And I call that a becoming budget because we're putting money into becoming, into growing, into evolving, which, in my opinion, along with Maslow, is our ultimate life goal,
Hmm.
right? That leads to self love and fulfillment and meaning in life and passion and happiness.
Hmm.
But on average, we're spending $725 a month on how we look, which I call our beauty budget. So if we lack self love because of our financial status, yet we put more money into how we look, but we're still not feeling good, at some point we have to recognize we have to do something different. And that is when you have to go within, boost that self love, which, in my opinion, starts with your purpose.
Love it. Love it. Y'all. And she just dropped some she just dropped some serious knowledge on y'all. So I hope y'all are picking up these gems because I don't want to give away everything because I want you to read the book. But I love how you tie in financial finding ourselves to financial literacy and freedom to tying it to your purpose,
Mhm.
understanding again, like we said about mindset shifts. You used in the book some acronyms, and there are two acronyms I want to ask you about. REAL, which is ready to elevate to another level, and then GPS, which is guidelines, principles, and strategies. So if you could talk to those for our viewers.
Okay. Also, in that discussion, that brainstorm session with other business owners, so there are five business owners and five women who co authored the book. We had a little frustration because we put a lot of energy when we work with our families and businesses. And we realized that some people just aren't ready, and that is okay. But in terms of the energy that we expend, the value and the return on that, we realize we need to target people who are ready, who've had enough, who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, who know that something has to change. You may not know what to do to change. You may not know where to get the support to change. That is where the guidelines, principles, and strategies come in. So we're looking for people ready to elevate to another level, which you decide for yourself, but we'll give you proven guidelines, proven strategies, and proven principles. And the beautiful thing is, you'll get the perspective from five different women.
I love it. And y'all, did y'all catch that T? How they did that though? Because being real and your GPS, like I can't go from town to town because I have no sense of direction without my GPS. So,
Absolutely.
so right. So y'all picked that up, right? Y'all got what she where they went with that. That's brilliant. So
And then I'm going to get ahead to chapter 4 really quick because they
okay.
really go through each chapter. When we come to chapter 4, it's talking about smarter money choices, which gives you guidelines for your finances. I'm dealing with guidelines for your mindset.
Okay.
So you'll get a little something different in every chapter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why, guys, I'm trying to tell you, you need to get this book. It is, and before I get into my next question, I was telling Morgana when we spoke, for me, my husband is really into finance and all things. He's majorly into the whole Dave Ramsey thing. We talked about that. For me, I find that a lot of the books and things that he's pushed my way for me to read, I find them dry.
Mm-hmm.
I find them harder to follow. For me, when I picked this book up, immediately because, first of all, when Tina was introduced, there you had a woman that you could see yourself in. So now you're taking a journey with Tina, right? And so it gave a different approach that to me really does speak to us ladies, because I mean, and I'm not going to generalize us, because there are the financial gurus and there are people that's their thing too. I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna speak from a Sherry perspective. For me, it read like, because I love to read, so each chapter gave you something a little bit different to think about. And anytime I'm doing anything like that, it becomes self-reflective. So this is self-help too, and in different disciplines, because like I love the way, like I said, you tied the financials to the purpose and the mindset, because when you look at it that way and you start to understand yourself, then you can start to realize, like even you said about being ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be ready to make the commitment to make those changes, to change your situation or to improve it. Like I said, we're talking about people from the novice level of where do I start, and I think it's a good time to drop this information. And oh, by the way, guys, this is just the start. We're going to have the other ladies that have authored this book on here as well. And particularly, I wanted to drop this now because what did we just went to so many graduations from young women that are about to enter into college, young women that are graduating from college and entering the workforce. Time is now. The sooner that you can get these principles and apply them to your life, the better off you'll be. But it's also never too late, ladies. So no matter where you are in your journey, you can get better, which brings me to my next question. So, in the book, you mentioned Eric Erickson's 8 stages of development.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Which I had to do a dissertation in college and I referenced Eric Erickson. I'm a fan. So I love that. And more specifically, we talk about stage 7, which is the I can never say that word, y'all.
Generativity.
Generativity versus stagnation. And this stage occurs generally between the ages of 40 and 65, which I'm in that little age range. So can you explain that? Because now I found that to be fascinating, and I want you to talk to our viewers a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. I lovingly call his phase the look back. A woman gets to that age, 40 to 65, and she starts looking back on her life. And she looks at what she thought it would be at that young, naive age before life happens. And then she takes a look at what it is. And she begins to see that sometimes that difference is drastic. And for some women, that difference can be debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have that gap from what you thought, where you thought you would be and where you are, you get stagnant and you don't go any further, right? That's where that stagnation comes from. So, what we do is we find ourselves at a loss. Now, here's where everything comes together. Because in the past, when we had issues, we used to look good because it feels good, go out because it feels good, right?
Right,
And it became a coping skill, right? Now,
right.
I'll say that thought and I'll come back. So then when we get to 40 and 65, those same coping skills aren't as productive. We don't get the same amount of reward from them, and we're at a loss because we haven't built any other coping skills. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not as easy to go buy that new outfit because you're in debt. Maybe you can't go out to eat, those things that give you that release or relief. So then you're faced with my answer is always digging within, finding yourself to become the best version of yourself. And then you can understand those gaps and then move towards what will give you the passion, and purpose that you need in your life. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. And like I said, I particularly thought, again, I am in that age group, and in life in general, when you do become middle aged, and in that gap, you realize that there's more life behind you
Mm-hmm.
that is in front of you, right? And when you're young, and like you said, you have all these grandiose ideas of, oh honey, by this age, because it seems old till you get there. I don't consider 51 old, but when I was 20, I did.
Mm-hmm.
So you check off, by then I'm gonna have this, and then you realize, I didn't quite get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved that you spoke to us in this age range, and that you've given us some insight in the fact that, look, just because it might not have turned out, because that's how life's right.
It
But there are
does.
tools to get you back on track. There are tools to get you there, and then the look back, like you said, teaches you something about yourself, right? So you don't go back, right? So
Absolutely. It should.
it should, in theory, right? It should. But that goes back to what you said about being ready, right? And
Absolutely.
let me just say, I found it very interesting that the book talks to the finding your strengths, and that being the gateway to unlocking your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And in the book, you share with us, um, it's a website you can go to, viacharacter.org. I want you to talk about the concept. I actually went and took the survey, so I was going to share it and show a little bit about what I came up with. Some, I was like, okay, I didn't realize. But can you talk to our viewers a little bit about that concept?
Absolutely. It makes me go back to a time when my older daughter was preparing to go to college. We were having a meeting with her counselor. Now, culturally, we're told work hard, right? And in this
Right.
session, I'm listening to a counselor tell my daughter to find things that are easy.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
wait a minute.
Okay.
And I said, easy? He said, yeah. The things that we do well are easy. We'll go further and be happier doing things that we do well. I was like, well, he may have a point. And that made me look into, and I love to read, I love research. And it made me research that a bit further. And sure enough, the things we do well typically result from our innate character. And those things that we do well tend to lead to our purpose.
Okay.
So that's how they all correlate. So I took that same assessment or
Mhm.
discovery tool. Assessment kind of turns some people off. A
Right.
discovery tool.
Yes.
And my character strengths align with the work that I do well. I love helping people. I love
Mm.
learning, and by learning, I get to share it. So for me, it aligned, and I'm curious to what you got out of it.
I am going to share it with everybody. So give me a second. I'm going to pull it right up here on the screen, and we're going to talk through it.
And this version is
Um,
free. There is a paid version, but the free. Oh, and here's something else. When I was in
okay.
my counseling program, we had to actually take group therapy to matriculate from the program. And one of the counselors said, as the best coping skill, if I can leave you with one thing to take with you in your life, is find one thing that you do well, you do well, and no one else in the world can convince you that you don't do well, that
Hmm.
that one thing could be a coping skill, that one thing could be a defense for you, that one thing could catapult you through difficulties in life if you could always say, I am. So,
Mm,
right? You have to have that something.
right.
Back to that as well.
Okay. I like that. All right, guys. This is my assessment. Um, let's see. We're going to pull that up. So this is the website, and it starts here. This is me, and my top strengths was humor, liking to laugh and tease, bringing smiles to other people. That is absolutely true. The spirituality, having coherent beliefs about the higher purpose and meaning of the universe, knowing where one fits within the larger scheme, having beliefs about the meaning of life that shape conduct and provide comfort. Number three was love and humanity, valuing close relationships with others, in particular those in which sharing and caring are reciprocated, being close to people, all true. Number four, leadership, encouraging of a group of which one is a member to get things done, at the same time maintain good relations with the group, organizing group activities and seeing that they happen. That's true, but I'm going to show you something that kind of contradicts what I thought was kind of interesting. And number five was kindness, doing favors and good deeds for others, helping them, taking care of them. That is actually true, sometimes to my detriment. Middle strengths, guys, was love of learning, which is true. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to just highlight this. Number seven, gratitude, being aware and thankful for the good things that happen. That's true. Hope, expecting the best in the future and working to achieve it. True. Judgment, thinking things through and examining them from all sides, not jumping to conclusions. I desperately do try to do that. So I'm glad that's one of my strengths. Curiosity, perspective, social intelligence, zest, honesty, creativity, appreciation of beauty and excellence, fairness, prudence, forgiveness, bravery. And now let's talk to my lesser strengths or areas that I can improve or, get better. Self-regulation, regulating one's feels, what one feels and does, being disciplined, controlling one's appetite and emotions, perseverance, finishing what one starts, persevering in a course of action in spite of obstacles, getting it out the door, taking pleasure in completing tasks, humility. I was like, whoa, really? Letting one's accomplishments. I was like, no, really, sure. Letting one's accomplishments speak for themselves, not regarding oneself as more special than one is. Well, yeah, I was surprised, but okay, maybe that it's area of improvement. And then teamwork. That's the one that really surprised me. Working well as a member of a group or team, being loyal to the group, doing one's share. Because I feel like I am a team player, but there may be aspects to that I can definitely work on. So I encourage you all to do your own, and then let that be an area of self-reflection so that you can start getting these tools to work on those things to propel you into your purpose and to get you where you need to be. So, okay, so now we talked a little bit about mine. What do you, okay, so I'm your client for a second. What would you tell me after looking at that? I mean, and I'm putting you on the spot just a little, but just a general one or two liner. Yeah, what would you tell me?
Now, it would be helpful to see them again, but what I think, so here, let me say this let me give you this note. If you are working with a professional counselor and that professional counselor tells you what to do, you're not likely with the right counselor because we're trained to be reflective. So I wouldn't necessarily tell you anything, but I would ask you questions like, do you think this aligns to your character? What discrepancies do you see? And I would definitely want to talk about the leadership and teamwork.
Right.
Right. How do you show up? Are you showing up in your team more so as a leader, a dictator, or are you showing up in that team to dig in and help do the work? Right.
Right.
So in terms of characters, those are some things that we could talk about there. But then we talk about your job, and does your job align with those characters? Right? Because someone may be low in judgment, but maybe in a highly analytical job, and that might be a conflict. Are your top characters aligning with what you love to do, what brings you joy? And are you doing that? How can we find a way to do that more? So that's the type of conversation I would have more than be prescriptive in my conversation.
I like that. I like
Mhm.
that. I do. Because then, yeah, what that does is that allows you, like you said, you give those leading questions so that I can answer those for myself, right?
Because
I
if
like
I answer them for you, all I'm doing is bringing my judgment and my experiences to you, which aren't going to serve you.
absolutely. Okay, see, I mean, she's dropping that knowledge, y'all. Okay, now another important thing I want to talk about: emotional intelligence,
Oh,
and
yeah.
what, yes, and what correlation it has to your relationship with money.
I love the topic of emotional intelligence. Growing up with my children on the way home from school, every day I ask them, how did you feel today?
Hmm.
Not how did someone make you feel, but how did you feel today? For a few reasons. One, you're responsible for your emotions. Two, there's never anything wrong with how you feel. There's a gap between how you feel and how you act where the
Hmm.
hard work comes in. So, to answer your question, when we have an experience, neurologically, it comes in this part of our brain. I'm not going to give all those words, that's not important. And then up here in the front part of your brain is where logic and reason sit.
Okay.
But experiences, which are all, this body is all electrical, right? When it comes in, the first place it hits is your emotions. So, therefore, our first response to anything is emotional.
Okay.
And if we aren't aware of that, we don't give time for the logic and the reason to kick in, which may lead to a different response,
Okay.
right?
Absolutely.
So, for example, and here's the thing, it could be two extremes. It could be I had a horrible day,
Hmm.
or I had a great day that leads to the emotional response of I'm going to spend money.
Hmm.
Let me break it down another level because habits form.
Okay.
Habits form when we have some response, some trigger, pardon me, in our life. And then over time, we respond without thinking because that response brings us some relief.
Hmm.
So let me pull this together.
Okay.
We have an experience that brings us some stress. And we've always, when we felt stressed, shopped because it relieves the stress. We build the habit of shopping when we have stress because we have that trigger and the relief is shopping.
Hmm.
And then when we don't have that emotional awareness to identify when it's happening, to then stop and say, hey, there's something else I can do to get relief. That's how we get into the monotony of the same problems over and over.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I get that. And that understanding that takes away because it could be like an impulse thing too. So I thought that that was really important because I don't think we talk enough, excuse me, about emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And I really I hadn't thought about it that way, but the way you brought that all together, guys, I hope you are listening because we have the term retail therapy
Mhm.
that we drop all the time. And that kind of lends itself to like, okay, so I had a bad day. Okay, I'm gonna go treat myself and go splurge and do this. And we don't stop and think that though it's okay. I think you should treat yourself. Definitely. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but is that splurge gonna hurt you in the long run? Is it, you know, is it really gonna make you feel good? Sometimes, but sometimes no.
Mhm.
So these are the things that you're bringing to us, highlighting, making us think about, and helping us to understand that getting your arms around your emotional intelligence and those things that normally you'll say, oh, if yeah, I had a bad day, I'm gonna go run and go grab me something or whatever, do some retail therapy. That maybe instead of that, we have other ways to soothe ourselves, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So, y'all, yet another great insight that I got from the book that I wanted her to share with you guys. And like I said, she delves deeper into this in the book, and not just her fellow co-authors. Y'all, really, it takes you on a journey, and you'll be better when you complete this book. I promise you. And
Yes.
so,
Say one thing before you move on.
sure, absolutely.
Be sure to get the book, because I talk about addiction and how looking good is actually an addiction. I'm not going to give that away on the podcast. You've got to buy the book for that.
There you
But there
go.
are a lot of women who are out, we sometimes look down on people who are addicted to drugs, names like junkies, crackhead. But there are a lot of women out here, junkies and crackheads, overlooking.
Yes. Real talk. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, you guys, I wanted to give you some of those highlights, but there is so much more in this book that we don't want to give away because we want you to read it. And the good thing is, and I will get to this when we wrap. I have one more question, and we're gonna give Morgana a chance to talk about some of the things that she has going on and her website and different things that are, she has that are also useful tools to all of us. I will ask my last question, and then I want to also let you guys know what we have planned further for the podcast. So, Morgana, what are the consequences of sacrificing living wills to look good?
That's a heavy one because I watch it and see it every day.
Mm.
Women in my circle, even myself, I know this information. I'm much better. I don't always make the right decisions.
Right,
I make more good decisions than I used to.
right.
What we sacrifice when we put looking good over living well is our future security.
Yes.
We're not thinking about retirement. We are in a space where it's instant gratification,
Mm.
whether it's our food, our TV shows, everything now we want instant.
Mm-hmm.
And here is an analogy. Most people know about the Game of Thrones and Jon Snow. And Jon Snow was warning everybody that winter was coming. Winter is coming.
Uh-huh.
And like he got people to fight with him, the extra strategy are those people who are fighting with me to let you know that retirement is coming.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the desired target savings amount to retire was $1 million. But we have these grand lifestyles. So let me break this down to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have $1 million saved by the time you retire and you want to live on a $100,000 pay before taxes,
Mm-hmm.
how long do you think that $1 million is going to last? Because we typically, as a country, did not grow up with financial education in our school system, we don't really have a good vision for money.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million sounds like a lot, but when you're in retirement and your money is making money for you because physically you just cannot, maybe
Right.
mentally you cannot, $100,000 will last you with 1 million saved only 13 years.
Y'all.
13 years. But look at this. There's a study, an article within the book, and it talks about and a study that was done on how much women spend on beauty products. And over a lifetime, up to $600,000.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
hello. So now don't get me wrong. Looking good is important because it works well for you. For example, if you are not having a good day, don't sit around undressed. Get yourself together. Put your hair on for those who wear wigs.
Right.
Your hair done, right? But pull yourself together because you'll feel better. So there's nothing wrong with looking good. It's just when we sacrifice living well to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
the same women who are fly today are going to be impoverished in retirement because they didn't save. Most people
Ooh.
Social Security is going to do it, but I don't think it will ever go away. What I think will happen are the benefits will reduce. So
Okay.
what will you do? What are you going to do? And we
Guys,
think we have time. We think we have time. Start today. You have to start today.
absolutely. Guys, did you hear that? She posed a powerful question. You know, um, like I said, we are going to make this a series, y'all, because we really need to really start taking this serious, really start applying this to our lives. And I want to use this platform to reach the majority. My demographics are mainly women. We have about a 60 to 40 women split that are our viewers. And ladies, and like I said, men too, because you all need to also think these about these strategies and apply these to your lives. But we want to talk to the ladies. We want to talk to our sisters because I think men are targeted for this more. A lot of financial strategists and advisors. This is a very male heavy field, or at least the ones that you see sometimes in the spotlight, whatever. And then we don't. Some of us do, but like I said, there is a place and a space that we need to come together and have these conversations together. Okay. And so I wanted to bring this series here for you guys because I realize just how important this message is. And this is for all ages. And so I wanted to ask you, just tell our viewers now, talk about what do you have next? What are you working on now? I currently have in our banner here that I want you guys to go get the book. It's currently available on Amazon and on their website. And I'm gonna let her speak to that. And they've got some amazing things going. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Morgana, and I just want you to plug what you got going on and let our viewers know.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. What we're working on now. So each of us, five of us come together. So we all have our five businesses and we work together collectively. So I'll speak to what I have in my business. I am Morgana LLC. I am promoting an opportunity for two things. One, this is going to go back to the introduction, my background in counseling, finance, and technology. From a counseling background, what I want to help you do is understand your money story because it is informing your financial decisions and you aren't even aware. And 9 times out of 10, your money story is filled with mistruths and misbeliefs and even trauma for your childhood. So if you're asking yourself, why do I keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Or if you know you're ready to make change, but don't know how to make change or try to make change, knowing your money story can help you in that area. So we have a campaign where you can take simple client discovery tool and actually identify your money story for the purpose of rewriting your money story. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Second, what we have is bringing technology into your finances. One of the reasons that we avoid dealing with our finances is because of all of the work, all of the paperwork and the different accounts. Anyone that works with me, I provide a free, through this podcast, note through the podcast, so mention Cherry, personal financial website. Imagine being able to go click a button and see all of your accounts in one place. That includes the growth on the accounts. That includes access to spending where you could set goals because we want you to set goals. I work with families and I'm asking them for paperwork and they can't find it. You get a vault where you can store all of your personal, professional, important financial documents.
Nice.
So all of your finances in one place through technology. You can run reports on your finances. It's amazing. So get your money story right. Let's get your finances together to see what you have. And when you do that, then you're positioned to begin to work with someone. Even if it's not me or the exit strategy, we can help you get ready to work with your own advisor.
I love it. I love it. Guys, look, you are giving an amazing opportunity. So we are trying to enlighten you and get you where you need to be. Take advantage of these tools. Make sure you mention me and Alleged Actually. And seriously take advantage of that because honestly, you know, where else are you going to get all this expertise? She said the buzzword, y'all. She said free.
Yes.
And take advantage of these great resources, y'all. And like I said, we will be back with another part. I will have, it will be all of the authors of the book. So this is part one. It'll be a total of 5 interviews. And then we're going to have all of the ladies back for a roundtable Q&A session. So stick around for the whole series. I will be dropping when the next interview will drop so that you guys will be aware of that. So remember, so that you know, you need to go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. And you need to also take a step further and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when this is going to drop. So you'll be ready, honey, because everybody is not going to be privy to this info if they're not over here at Alleged Actually. Okay? So I just want to say thank you so much, Morgana Jones, for gracing us with all of these wonderful tools and for your expertise. I mean, honestly, this is giving back in a major way. So thank you so, so much for being here today.
You are welcome. It's truly indeed my pleasure. Alleged Actually podcast audience. Go to the website and even schedule an appointment. Mention Sherry, though, when you schedule the appointment for additional discounts.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. So we're going to let you go. We want you to have a wonderful day. I'm going to have her website in the bio or in the intro or the description for this video. Check that out. Make sure you go over there and visit and make sure. Now, I want you make sure you have this book in hand when we drop that next part so that you know you're following along. Okay. So get this book, Design Your Wealth Mindset, currently available on Amazon and on the website. And all of that information will be in the description. So, guys, have a beautiful day. Thank you again for tuning in. Come on back for part 2. We love you guys. Thank you again.
Take care.
Bye.